Now that Minecraft 1.19 has been out for a while, we've had time to find all the weird nooks and crannies of this update, so today I'm here to bring you a whole ton of the weirdest, funnest, and most important bugs and glitches in Minecraft 1.19 that need to be fixed. I think we all know just how weird Minecraft Bedrock Edition can be, so today I'm here to show you just the weird stuff from Minecraft 1.19. Hopefully you enjoy, drop a like if you do, and let's get into it. We're not going to question why he's just floating midair. It's not a question. That's not the point of the video. I present to you the AntiWater Fountain. I don't even know what's happening here anymore, but the sponge is not having a good time. So what's happening here is because we are in a desert or a mesa or really any other biome that's considered hot, the sponges will actually dry out instantly in these biomes. If you place down a wet sponge in the desert or mesa, it doesn't actually dry out instantly, unlike the nether. But if you happen to put a water source next to it, it will absorb it and then instantly dry out. So this is really easy to build. All you need is literally a sponge. You need a correct hot biome, and then you just need a water source, and then you just kind of let that thing flow. And if you let all of them flow at like different spaces, it stopped. Why did it stop? There it goes. So sometimes it can break, sometimes it maybe gets overwhelmed, but we aren't going to let that stop us from trying to have an anti-fountain. By the way, you need a 5-block gap between the sponge and a water source if you're trying to build this vertically. So as you can see, if we place down a wet sponge in the nether, it instantly dries out. This is the intended mechanic, but this mechanic is bleeding over to the overworld just a little bit, and that's causing this bug. And why, yes, this does happen in the nether as well, assuming that you have a cheaty water source. This pig man is just like so confused right now. Honestly, this pig man is so confused right now. What do these 3 blocks have in common? Vines, skulk veins, and glow lichen. Well, they can all be used to make ghost blocks of powdered snow. So if you click on the block below them, you can actually like snow log these things. And this powdered snow does not exist right now. So let's place down a regular powdered snow. If we walk into this powdered snow, as you can see, we're going to start freezing around the edges of the screen, and it's going to like slow us down and give us particles and all that stuff, but not for these ones. We can walk through these ones just fine. They don't slow you down at all, and if we put on some leather boots, you're not actually able to walk over these or anything. So if we break any of the vines or anything behind it, then as you can see, it turns into a proper powdered snow block. This is surprisingly useful because you can't look through a powdered snow to like interactive items or anything, but if you do this little trick with having a vine there and then a powdered snow, you can look through that and open up a chest or activate some redstone or something. Unlike a normal block, this ghost powdered snow does not stop your camera either, so you can send your camera through walls and hide hidden messages, which is of course very useful. You can also make a trap pit and a secret area by putting some glow lichen on the walls and then just snow logging those, and even if you're wearing leather boots, you will still fall right through it into the trap. Overall, ghost blocks are actually pretty useful, would highly recommend. Did you know that powdered snow can also be used for ghost bubble columns? If you fill in a bubble column with all powdered snow, there's still going to be a bubble column inside of there that'll push you up, and then you get rid of the powdered snow by just flowing it out with water, and then you have an invisible bubble column, which is absolutely super cool. A really annoying thing you might have noticed with allays is that if you have one captured somewhere in your base and you happen to go through a nether portal, it's actually going to follow you through into the nether, and this can completely ruin any item sorter you might have built with them. The trick for this is to have your allays more than 21 blocks away from your nether portal, so now that that guy's trapped over there, if we go through to the nether, as you can see, he isn't going to follow us. And now for some quick-fire quickie bugs. Light blocks are a little bit broken. Whenever you're holding one, it should show all light blocks in the area, but it doesn't. Only when you're holding a barrier block do you see the light blocks, and then you also see the barriers. That should not happen. Whenever you have a shulker box above some water or a bubble column, the water underneath it will appear to be invisible. As you can see there, it just does not render in. 2 quick bugs with furnaces. You can't use mangrove roots to smelt items. These should be able to smelt 1.5 items potatoes, and they just don't. And also, whenever you try to click a non-fuel into the fuel slot, it literally just drops it out of the inventory. So I'm clicking literally everywhere else, and it doesn't drop it out of the inventory. But as soon as I try to put these potatoes into the fuel slot, bam, they get thrown on the ground for no good reason. So you know how things in Minecraft have a shadow, which by the way is the only circle in Minecraft. So whenever you drop an item, the shadow beneath mobs, signs, and items, among other things, it just disappear for a second. As you can see there, it just kind of goes away. And if you look like straight up, as you can see, the shadow underneath the player also has some weird bugginess happening with it. I guess the shadows are overlapping with one another, which creates an anti-shadow. And that makes a whole lot of logic. If you didn't know, a large number of chests can significantly destroy your frame rates. So right now we got 60 because that's what I have it locked at. And if we just look at this little pile of chests right here, as you can see, we got 45. If you have enough chests, you can actually basically crash your game as well. So keep that in mind. Too many chests is definitely a bad thing. If you have the ability to, use barrels because those are a lot less laggy. Even just a large number of items on the ground appears to be super laggy in 1.19. We just lost a third of our frames from 3 single chests of items. And it's not because it's spawn eggs or anything. It's just any item will do this to you. I mean, look how bad this gets in a very short amount of time. Oh yeah, that's real nice and framey there. We got 14 FPS. This is quality Minecrafting. I have an RTX 3080, by the way. We should not have these kinds of performance issues. Okay, this is the fun part where we get all of our frames back. There we go. See, that's not so bad after all. This one is actually really good for just so many terrible pranks. So hear me out. Right here we have kind of a false iron golem. So if you break out this block, this would be the shape of the statue that you need to summon in an iron golem. But what we're going to do is we're going to, spawn that in wrong and just break out this corner. So what happens when you place a pumpkin in any of these locations is that actually spawns in a new iron golem. So if we just place in a pumpkin up here, as you can see, that actually spawns an iron golem down there. It is super funky. So if we summon in ourselves a false wither statue right here, just something like this, break out that one, and now if we replace any of these pumpkins with a wither skull, that is going to summon us a wither. As you can see, this is incredibly dangerous. So you can use this to make your friends accidentally summon a wither, and this is as fun as you think it is. So I think you get the idea. You could easily troll your friend by asking them to place a wither skull on a pedestal of some sort, and then bam, a wither summons out of the wall, out of nowhere. They don't understand how it happens, but now you got yourself a wither boss. And just to be clear, it works anywhere within this range. So if we place in a wither skull literally anywhere inside of here, that's going to summon a wither. So this is directional. It only works to the southeast of the actual wither statue, and it works for the iron golems, and it should work for snow golems as well. I wonder if this has ever happened to somebody. That's not good, is it? This little mechanic was found by Zipper96, and it is just so fun, and you're gonna have a great time with this, but make sure that you troll responsibly. This is gonna seem like a really small bug, but podzol can prevent trees from growing. So if we have a piece of podzol right there, we are not gonna be able to grow a tree no matter how much we bone meal it. The reason why this is a bug is because dirt does not prevent trees from growing. As you can see, we can bone meal that just fine. So this pretty much only has an effect for like 2x2 spruce tree farms, and if you're growing trees in a taiga biome or something. But there's another bug where dirt that has a block above it still gets turned into podzol, which should not happen. So if we grow a tree, as you can see, this block right here gets turned into podzol. This double bug right here prevents so many possibilities when it comes to spruce tree farms, and I suffered for many a day, many a week designing a 2x2 spruce tree farm, and so have many others. By the way, I made a 2x2 spruce tree farm. It's amazing. Go watch. Many logs. There's a bug where pillagers riding ravagers actually take up the mob cap of your pillager outpost, and this has a surprisingly big impact on advanced raid farms. If you have a bunch of riders in the area, that could completely stop your outpost from spawning pillagers, preventing you from getting bad omen and starting more raids. This one bug is the entire reason why the 24 stacked insane raid farm has to be split density, because all the pillagers are more than 4 chunks away from the outpost. That way there's an individual mob cap just for our trident killers to give us enough bad omen to actually run the farm. Needless to say, if this was fixed, a lot of the build process of this farm would be like 1,000 times simpler. For once in a while, it's not all bad news when it comes to raid farms. We actually have a really powerful mechanic using regular ice. As long as this is floating above the ground by at least a block, evokers cannot summon fangs or vexes. As you can see, we got like a dozen guys in here, and normally these guys would be going crazy. We'd have vexes and fangs everywhere, and we're not getting anything. There is 1 or 2 fangs summoning like all the way out here, as you can see, but that is not an issue. I think you could probably get rid of that problem entirely if you just raised up this platform in the sky and maybe put some more ice around. So raids can spawn on ice, and if you put a water stream above this, you could have a raid farm completely free of vexes and fangs, which is a great thing because vexes are known to kill AFK players. Also, if you just want to have like an evoker in your base that can't do any damage to you, this is the way to go. It looks really cool, and I totally want one. Just to show that it works, these guys can summon fangs and they can summon vexes as well, assuming that they're on the ground. Those are just some of the fun and weird bugs in Minecraft 1.19. If you ever find anything weird about this game, let me know if a comment down below or on Discord or Twitter, and I might include it in a future video. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then drop a like or maybe subscribe, as it helps with the video and the channel a ton. And I'll see you guys down in the comments and in the next one. And then there was silence.